Yo, what is up? Happy Thursday. Welcome back to the Culture and Cannabis Podcast. I am one of your hosts, full-time Tony, here with the young, the good-looking, the very strong, hairless Jeffrey Coates.
What's good, bro?
It's like crazy that you have no hair, but you still look like you have so much hair on your body.
I mean, it is kind of all over me, but, it's really short,
Yeah,
So.
and we're in our new studio.
We are in a new studio.
We're in a new studio. We got the green screen behind us. It's been super lit. If you're watching right now on my live, you can see the green screen.
I think the green screen performs better on the social.
I think so as well. I think people fuck with it.
I mean, the last time we posted last week's episode with Chronic to Wear, it slapped
Shout
pretty
out,
good.
shout out to Chronic to Wear.
Chronic to Wear.
But we have another great guest this week. Who we got?
Listen, I don't know this gentleman that well.
Let's talk about how you met him.
Okay, all right. So there's a new app called Clubhouse.
Yeah, and if you're on Clubhouse, you need to get on Clubhouse like today.
Yeah, get on Clubhouse. It's super hot right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Super fire hot.
Super fire hot. And so they have these rooms, right? And you can have these different discussions and different topics. And I think there's one room, there's cannabis in Illinois. Something like the state of cannabis in Illinois. And so I jumped into the room and, just sat back and listened. And there's, because Illinois, there's so much going on over there, right?
Yeah, it's pretty wild, huh?
I mean, just like the social equity issues and just, the beginning of the whole process and all that stuff. And
Can only imagine.
There's a young man that's in the industry out there. Minister Willie Mooney was speaking.
Willie!
And so here he is. Let's check him out.
What's up, Willie? How we doing, sir?
What's going on, guys?
Cool, man. Listen, we connected on Clubhouse, and now we got you on the podcast. Listen, I appreciate your time, man. How's everything going? Tell everybody, who you are and what you're doing out there in Illinois.
Man, I'm Minister Willie Mooney. I'm born and raised Chicago, Illinois, west side of Chicago. Minister, obvious, but I'm also a cancer survivor. Been entrepreneur for 25 years. And so happened, man, with this pandemic going on, and when I guess I saw that cannabis was about to be legalized right before the pandemic, it caught my curiosity, and I decided as a man of God that there was something that I needed to, I would say, invest in. So to keep it kind of, I'm a father of a 25-year-old, 25-year-old daughter, so pretty average guy, but past couple years and about the year and a half, it ain't been too average, with cannabis in this conversation. So ready to get into it.
I would say for someone that has a 25-year-old child, you do not look You do not look like you have a 25-year-old child, man. I mean, when they say black is not crack, it is. You live it, brother.
Looking fresh, man. Well, listen. All right, so you're. Let's talk about being a minister. Like, what does that actually mean?
Well, minister in scripture means to actually educate, teach. It means teacher. You may hear pastor, which means shepherd, or we might say reverend, which means preacher.
Right.
So minister, teacher. I would keep it that simple so we don't go over people's heads.
Right. Cool, man. Man, I said my prayers this morning.
Did you?
I did.
Yeah. I think I don't directly pray, but I talk to myself and the universe, I guess.
Yeah.
And I guess it's kind of like praying in a sense, right? Just putting out your hopes and dreams and manifesting.
Yeah.
It's a good sense of praying.
I 100% is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the wonderful thing about being a minister, man, and being of God is that we actually get to fellowship as brothers, like we're doing now. And coming together on a same accord, meeting the person with exactly where they are, and then being able to do what we're doing together for the common good of purpose and what God put us here for. So that's the real deal.
Yeah,
so
man.
I don't get into all the schematics, the religious beliefs and stuff like that, because that separates us.
Yeah, no, that just breaks it all down, right? Being able to connect with people on that level is, it's unlike any other level.
Yeah, I love that. I hope that's a clip right there, Rick.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I really like that. I definitely do want to talk about cannabis.
Yeah, I want to talk about, and I don't mean to jump in here, but
go for it.
I want to so right now you're working for a really cool company that's doing some innovative things in the cannabis space in Illinois. Let's talk about what's the name of that company and what you guys are doing right now?
Well, the name of the company is Wakana for Life LLC.
Okay.
What's interesting about the company is the company started right before cannabis was legal here in Illinois. We're based out of Bronzeville right now. We started on 106 in Halstead in a African American, predominantly African American community. Four African American women took on the courage to start the company right before legalization in the world of, right now I'm going to say loosely CBD, cannabidiol, but also the other parts of the plant under the 2018 Farm Bill, right, which made cannabis of 0.3% of THC or less legal. So we went into the company started with those four African American women, couple partners, raised the money to actually start a physical brick and mortar while taking on a direct level marketing approach, but also being what we have a micro dispensary platform, allowing the average person to get into the space, which was very important, when you look at everything that's going on in Illinois, if you've heard the news.
Let's dive into the
Yes.
micro dispensary platform. I mean, I
Yeah.
think that's super interesting, and I think kind of unheard of here on the West Coast.
Oh, definitely. Well, the micro dispensary platform is when you look at how many people are actually trying to figure out, man, I just want to get in. Like the industry is so broad.
Right.
And when you look at the number of states that are legalized, well, say what is 13 to 16 states legalized in both medical and recreational.
Right.
Where what we failed to realize was that the conversation about cannabis started happening in 2014 under Obama's administration for hemp. So now you fast forward to 2018, and in December hemp became legal of that 0.3% of THC or less.
Right.
But there was rarely conversations around it. But what we started noticing when it became a conversation here in Illinois, you start seeing dispensaries pop up everywhere, not just with the THC portion of the plant, but all the other different cannabinoids. So that was something. And then you start looking at Walgreens and CVS, like those stores start carrying cannabis, hemp. And now I'm not talking about the supplement. I'm talking about CBD and some of the other cannabinoids like CBG, CBN, Delta 8. But you start seeing, okay, well, now you start seeing the product go into liquor stores, convenience stores, gas station, unregulated market. So it's just made it pretty interesting that we didn't see a lot of minorities getting in this space. More so was focused on the recreational space, in which the application process started with, of course, promises for social equity and all of that. But it was just pretty much a letdown for a lot of people in Illinois.
Yes.
When you looked at how many people actually apply for the license of recreational marijuana and transportation and dispensary ownership, cultivation.
Yeah. So let's talk about that for a second, because our good friend Vincent,
Vincent Norman, man,
had me-
Marijuana Hall of Fame,
yeah,
bro.
Marijuana Hall of Fame. Shout out Marijuana Hall of Fame. They brought me out to the Parkway Dispensary Group, and they were doing these monthly, I think they still do them, monthly networking events, and it was just like you said, everyone's just like, eager to get in and trying to figure out how to get in. I had an opportunity to speak to some of those people. It was an incredible experience. But, everybody's trying to figure out how to get in, and the social equity thing. So what's going on, right? So the social equity opportunities happened, right, at the beginning of this year, and then, or maybe it was, last year, and then everyone thought that they were going to get those licenses awarded towards the end of last year. Is that what it was? Maybe I got the timeline wrong.
Well, January of 2020.
And then none of
was
those
when
licenses were awarded to anyone. Is that correct?
No licenses were awarded.
But none of the social equity
out of-
applications. Is that correct?
Say that one more time.
So were the social equity applications awarded any
Not
licenses?
fair. No. Because what happened is the haves had more than the have-nots. And the leverage of the haves leveraged out the have-nots. So when you look at the time, 75 dispensaries being allocated and over 1,600 applications, and only 21 LLCs or companies, however you want to categorize them, get those licenses of 75. And then you look at, well, when you look at the social equity, which was supposed to go to, say, African-American owned companies or whatever the case by definition, there was so many loopholes that we saw people actually getting a social equity who were the big companies that actually maybe just hired people who were coming from the communities that social equity was supposed to give back to, just working behind the register,
Right.
right?
So-
Which fulfilled part of their application or military. So it wasn't fair at all.
So
when you get
there was like a massive loophole, is what you're saying. Like you could just
Oh,
kind of.
man.
So I think you have like these big groups, right, that didn't hit the categories of the social equity. They weren't in prison for weed, or they weren't, veterans or whatever, African Americans, minority groups.
It sounds like they're just taking anybody who that falls into that category and slapping them.
They're finding them.
Yeah, saying, hey, we'll give you 1/10% to be on this quote unquote license,
Right.
if you can be the face of it, type of thing.
And then some of those, so it's like, is the program even working right? It's just super frustrating.
And so is that's essentially what's happening though. He's still there?
Application process, and you looked at the standards or the minimum that was needed, say for points that were being allocated for, if you had a military person, you get this point. If you have this, you get points. The points start to be where, let's say, a predominantly owned company like our four founders, who are predominantly African American, that met a lot, we pretty much thought we were going to get it. Well, missing it by 1 point, which probably was whatever it was, we didn't end up getting it. But those who had perfect applications, so-called perfect applications, who didn't have, say, a predominantly African American board or whatever the case may be, didn't get the dispensaries. So when you look at who actually received the dispensary, they weren't technically social applicants.
Man.
Right. So,
I mean, it's crazy.
So-
I think some of those licenses are kind of like still up in the air. And they're going to be awarded, but they were supposed to get them at one point, and they're
You
like,
talk about
well,
Illinois.
there is a lawsuit going forth now
That's what
with
I was
those
gonna say.
who didn't receive the application.
got it.
Yeah,
Suing the state right now, trying to sue the state.
that's what happened here in Nevada.
Yeah. And-
But on a completely different level. But
Yeah.
similar.
I mean, it's crazy, but what you're doing is what I think is super cool, because what that process kind of creates is it makes people think that they can't get into the industry, right?
Of course.
And they feel left out. And as unfair and as messed up as it is, right? We got work to do in that area, but at the same time, we still need to get to work, right? And there is other opportunities in the cannabis space to get to work while we're fixing the stuff that needs to get fixed, right? And I think that you participated in a lot of that, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of those things.
So, like, when you look at what's on the table, and you look at what's been available, like, why not try to get in, and let me just say loosely, why not try to get in the clothing part of the industry, or the textile part of the industry, or the cosmetic part of the industry? So what we've done and what the founders have done, and allowed the average person for a minimum amount to get your foot in the door, get education, true education on learning about the endocannabinoid system, learning about the politics, learning about stock, learning about everything that the industry involves, as well as entrepreneurship, search engine optimization, how to build, give them a website, e-commerce, and be able to sell what's legal under the President's Farm Bill or the 2018 Farm Bill, whatever it encompasses, be able to go into full distribution of that while you're aspiring to be a farmer or whatever it is, a chef that maybe you want to learn how to infuse hemp products or THC products, the proper way to do it, learning dosing. So we educate in all that with our Cannabis Advisory Board, as well as, like I say, allow a person to get into distribution, right?
Yeah.
Delta 9, Delta 8, and all the other cannabinoids, because there's over 100 different cannabinoids in the plant.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Delta 9
Delta
quick. Or the Delta 8, right? It's super trendy topic right now. I think there's a bunch of people making a lot of money, right?
All the deltas.
All the deltas, right? It's like a delta party, right? It's like delta, delta, delta.
We were on the clubhouse room
Yeah.
last night that I thought that we were talking about it, and it was pretty interesting because there were so many people giving Delta 8 a bad rap.
Yes.
And it was so funny because there was someone in the room, and I forget her name. She kind of like piped up like, wait, are we legit shaming people for trying to make money in the cannabis industry, like selling
Right.
Delta 8?
Yeah.
It's like, it didn't make any sense to me. And like, the biggest issue that they were saying, it's like confusing to the customer, but so is like, so are tires. Like I don't know shit about fucking tires. You know what
So
I'm
are
saying?
terpenes, right?
Yeah. So is so is making a beef Wellington. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's tons of things that are complicated to the consumer. So like, to shit on Delta 8 or people who are trying to make their way by selling Delta 8 is just kind of like counterintuitive to the industry itself.
Yeah. My only
Yeah,
concern,
and
go ahead, Willie. What did you
and
think
check
about
this
it?
out. I mean, let me put it in this analogy. Do we make a big deal out of, and I'm using this very loosely because we're talking about two different industries, but do we make a difference about alcohol content if there's 11% alcohol or if there's octane, which is like 80% proof? You get what I'm saying? The industries coexist. That
Right.
industry coexists with liquor, period. So why is it hard to believe that this plant, right, and all parts of the plant of great benefit, that goes for CBG, CBN, Delta 8, and there's so many different THCs like Delta 9 tetrahydrocannabinol, Delta 8 tetrahydrocannabinol. So why are we making a big deal of it when we should be grabbing all of it?
Yeah, so, I mean, I agree, right? But I think it comes down to the regulations of the psychoactive part of the plant, right? And that's where people are kind of finding a loophole to where they're acting like they're selling THC, but it's really not, right? And but it's Delta 9, right? And like who knows
8.
about or Delta 8? Like, has there been studies on it? Like, do we
Has there
know?
been study on Delta 9?
It's like,
Has there been study?
How
And there's really hasn't been study on,
Exactly.
on majority of the plant.
And so, like, my concern is really with the people in our community that do choose to get into the cannabis industry, and maybe they get tempted to go in a certain route that might not be the best route, right, for them to go, when you get into the cannabis industry, because this game of fighting the regulations and the loopholes and stuff like that it's just it's not a long-term win. You know what I mean?
I don't
But
know.
I think-
I would. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you
But
off
maybe
here.
I'm wrong, right?
I would say
No,
like
go ahead.
that's literally what massive big banks have been doing since the beginning of time. Is like it's about
Exactly.
finding the loophole in the system and fucking playing it to your advantage. Like that's
Right.
business. Like that's
Right.
like fucking Bill Belichick is a great coach because he knows the fucking rules better than everybody else, right? And so he can pull tricks out of his hat because he has them there. And so it's like to knock somebody because they're selling Delta 8 and maybe they're pushing it as weed is like, I understand that, there's health concern, like the big potential health concerns, right? But it's like, it's a part of the plant. So it's like tough to like.
And
talk
Rick,
shit
let's
about it.
go there.
Yeah.
Let's go there, Rick. Even if you say health concerns, let's go into the whole concept of why would the Farm Bill even be a conversation from 2014 to 2018? Why would it be a conversation? So when you look at, is the plant strictly about getting high, or is the plant right about medical? Is
It's
it
both.
about
It's both, right?
right? So it's both. So so when you look at why would CVS and Walgreens be carrying part of the plant? Why? They got the cannabinoids,
Because of the well
right?
health
So
and
when
wellness
you look at the science behind the plant, why is it that Eli Lilly years ago would have it as a tincture, the plant? So we can't ignore, we have to educate ourselves. We can't ignore the whole plant and the benefits of the whole plant. Regardless of the negative stigma, which is what we do as our company, we focus on erasing the negative stigma that is caused, and is still doing it because of this. You look at this conversation that's caused communities around the world to suffer and lose out on the health and the wealth benefit of the plant. And so we are that catalyst to stir people up, to get in that space, to cause people as entrepreneurs to be investors, chefs, farmers, whatever it is, because the plant does a lot. You can
Right.
make rope out of the plant.
Yeah, it's a horrifying thought, right? To think that all the stigma that we've all been through, right? To think that even our own community is going to cast more stigma on our own community.
It
right?
was
It's
pretty
like,
crazy to me last night that like in this clubhouse, like these people were like legit talking shit about
Yes.
Delta 8, and I was just like, it just like didn't resonate with me. It was just like, wait, we're all in the fucking cannabis industry. Like it's like this, it's in all the plants that you sell in a regulated market. So it's just like, it's like they were like giving props to the traditional or the legacy market, but were like not giving props to the people that found out a way to do it legally, but to like cut the loopholes. I don't know. That just it seems so weird to me.
Yeah.
But the unregulated market is making a killing.
Oh yeah, they're crushing, bro.
You can walk into warehouses and see, oh my God, flour with all the bootleg, synthetic, and hardware, from vapes to hookah. Right? The industry is
nuts.
killing
Yeah, no, I would
It's
say
nuts.
the traditional market is probably making the most amount of money it's ever made, I think, to date, just because cannabis is becoming so legalized in these different states that people that are regulated don't know the difference, and people that are buying it don't know the difference. Like people still ask us all the time, like, hey, can I buy your weed online? Like all the time, people still ask me that,
Yeah.
and it's just like no, like you have to go to a dispensary. It's like it's state regulated, and like people ask me like, so like why do you only sell in Nevada and Oklahoma? Like why don't you sell in all 50 states? And it's like because it's not regulated in all 50 states, right?
Right.
And so people don't understand. Like I have probably 5 to 10 Instagrams a week hit me up asking about selling me the Mylar bags, like the cookies or last week I had like the ones that are like the Ori, the Hio, Hori, like the
exotics?
like the exotics, but they make like the Oreo and like
Yeah.
the Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah, the
So-
knockoffs.
The knockoffs, man. And that industry is booming.
So when you look at distribution and you now say, okay, you can't, in this particular part of the industry, now e-commerce, like we have e-commerce going for it, right? That, like I say, that allows the average person to get in the way like a toll booth of transactions from manufacturer all the way to consumer. And then the demand is high because why? People want healing. They want to get help. They don't, you look at the industry and then you look at the opioid epidemic. Well, what solves that? The THC does that alone? No, it doesn't.
It's the whole
So
plan.
what does that mean? Yeah, that means that there's opportunity out there that a lot of people can take advantage of that's actually legal in every state. Now, there's some, states that ban smokable hemp or ban Delta 8. 11 states ban Delta 8, but it's a conversation. So why not be a part of that conversation, get the education and make money at that? That's what we're doing while educating. Nobody, think about it, do the liquor industry argue the owners of Smirnoff, right, try to badmouth Ciroc? No, you got bottom shelf, you got top shelf. It's a blend of all of it.
Yeah.
You have to look at the plant that way. It's plenty of space for all of us.
There is.
If we think like the conversation, some on Clubhouse are kind of, they're entertaining. But if we really get to the meat of the conversation and say, hey, man, let's just be toll booths to get in the way. Because a lot of people aren't getting in.
Right.
No, they're not. And I think what's so interesting, you bring up the e-commerce stuff, and then a point I want to bring up is that Oklahoma presented a bill yesterday or today to allow all 50 states to
Reciprocity?
pass reciprocity, where you can come in, you could be from any 50 states and apply same day for a medical license in the state of Oklahoma, purchase that product legally and smoke it legally. And so it's so interesting too, because you think about, like, let's talk about the back east, right? Like, so you're in Chicago, New Jersey just went online, right? And so you got to think, people back east, it's not uncommon to live in New Jersey and go to New York every day for work, or live in Philly and go to New Jersey every day for work, or live in Washington, D.C. and go to Jersey every day for work. So it's like, that like you hopping on a train, you go through 3 different states is not unusual for these people. So like when New Jersey goes online, it's going to force states like Pennsylvania, New York, and all the other East Coast states to go legal as well, because they have so many people that they're losing out on money is what it comes down to. Because like they're going to stop in Jersey before they come home to pick up their weed, and then they're going to go back to Pennsylvania and smoke it, or they're going to go back to New York and smoke it.
I mean, it's the same with like, Missouri. Missouri just went legal because like they're seeing what's happening in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
It's just pressure.
It's just pressure because it's like, why lose out on the money? Idaho's a perfect example. Idaho loses millions of dollars every year because all these people go to Oregon and Washington on the border to go pick up their product, and they come back in, and it's so ridiculous.
So let's look at this.
Go for it.
Let's look at this. Let's for a minute think of this concept. Gambling, right? Gambling is for a point in time is tripped out because we used to have to go to Indiana to go to the boat. And we have a wonderful river here in Chicago, Illinois. But on-site betting at the time was illegal. Now it's legal. On-site betting. Well, now you see gambling machines in the corner stores. Okay, so let's now go to fireworks, right? So when you look at where the money is, where it's going to be made, you look at politics, is where do you get in, period. This industry is no different, right? How many of us are having conversations about on-site gambling and opening our own casino?
Right.
See, cannabis is just the newest thing, but it's not the only thing. And the thing is where do you fit in, period. That's more of the conversation. What we did was make sure, and I wasn't even looking for this company. I was just trying to invest. I just so happened to end up in a small brick and mortar, half insurance office, half little counter dispensary that blew up over a year and a half, not even 2 years old, where when you look at we've made up to 5 million already. But you look at the industry, and in Illinois alone, in November made 1 billion.
Just
Who wouldn't want a piece?
Yeah.
Would you care how you got? 5 million is actually what has been sold or purchased within our company. That's money. Would you care? Would you just, oh man, nobody wants that. It's not THC or it's not getting you high. No, dude. The dollars say that a lot of people, it's a large demand.
I've even heard, and getting back to Delta 8, 9, or 10, or whatever it is.
Delta 24.
I mean, I've heard some people say that it helps them. You know what I mean?
No, we got a sample from Hemp Trails.
Yes.
Hemp Trails CBD gave us a sample here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I really fucking enjoyed it. Honestly, I was like, wow, this is it's like a good in between. It's like someone described it as like 50% THC, and I was like, yeah, it's a great way to describe it. It's like it doesn't get you high, but it gives you like a little bit like of a head change, mind change.
It didn't really get me high,
Yeah.
so I was just kind of like,
I explain it like this. If you're looking at, like, this is Delta 8, and a little of Delta 8 will make it hard for me. It'll make me so calm, so smoothed out. I'm not arguing with you. I'm not stressed, but I can't do a presentation.
okay.
Right?
Okay.
Delta 9, I definitely can't do a whole presentation like go screen, but Delta 8 slows me down, and this is truth. I do presentations all the time. I speak before people all the time, but I can't do it if I have Delta 8. It'll be in slow motion. That's Delta 8, right? I can't do it. So it does have euphoria.
Okay.
It's just not as high, right? Or psychedelic psychosis is Delta 9.
No, I feel that.
So anybody who wants that nice, smooth, that's what I like. I like nice, smooth. I like being focused. So Delta 8 makes you, instead of falling upside, Delta 9 might make you fall upside the cabinet, right? Delta 8 lets you lean on the cabinet.
That makes a whole lot of sense now. Now I'm with you, man. Well, shoot, man, I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on.
We definitely want to get you back on the podcast. We're running out of time here, but it was great talking with you. Everything that you got going on in Chicago. I mean, it's awesome to see justice warriors like you that are trying to make things right for the cannabis industry out there. So keep up the good work and the good fight, man. And we'll we'll have you back on the podcast to get some updates when you guys do 100 million.
Oh man, that's what I'm talking about. Yes, let's get it. And you know what? I love you guys for just thinking about us.
Yeah, definitely plug everything right now. Plug yourself, plug the company, plug everyone that you're working with. You know, give some shout outs.
I sure will. I already started, so it's already going out. It's on my page, Facebook. I'm gonna do it. It's already going out. This is a blessing, man, just to get the conversation going.
Cool. Where can they find you on Instagram?
So on Instagram, you can find me at Minister Mooney. That's my Instagram. Facebook, Minister Willie Mooney Jr. If you wanted to check out the website, my personal website is fullmooncbdtac.com. That's full moon, like the man on the moon, cbdtac.com. And man, just what do you call it? Clubhouse.
Clubhouse.
Still Minister Mooney.
That's cool.
Clubhouse is cool.
Listen, thank you for the good vibes and thank you for caring about the industry to do the right thing out there in Illinois. And I'm glad we got connected, and I'm looking forward to keeping the conversation going, brother.
Yeah, thank you so much, Willie.
Definitely, JC. Man, I love you. Rick, nice meeting you. Love you too, man. I got to give me one of them shirts.
We got you. All right, we'll check you next time,
dude.
man. Well, that's funny because your name is actually Tony, right? And see, Rick is over here.
I was yelling at Rick.
Yeah.
And so that's probably why he probably got confused. It's okay. And people, once they know I'm Tony, and it's hard to forget that I'm Tony. You know what I'm saying?
Might be the last time you ever get called Rick.
I hope not. I hope, well, maybe now that I'm pronouncing it on TV, on the podcast, that I'm not Rick. But listen, what a awesome human being. There's just someone that, like, you could just tell, you could feel the positivity and, like, energy from him through the camera. I don't know if that makes any sense or not.
No,
but
it does. That's why I reached out to him. I was like, this dude is super cool.
And I could tell.
I think you were in the clubhouse.
He has a great. I can guarantee you, he has a great clubhouse voice too.
Yes,
And I think that's another issue with clubhouse. If you don't have a good voice, it's hard. It's hard to listen to somebody for so long.
Last night was kind of rough.
It happens. It's. I just thought it was so interesting too. Like, to go back on it. It's so interesting that people will shame other people for their hustle, and it's just for me, I've done it all, and I know you've done it all too. I've sold illegal drugs to legal drugs, right? And so it's just who am I to knock somebody to trying to get theirs? And it's I can't participate in the traditional or legal the legacy market, but I appreciate it because that's where I started, and that's where the industry started. And if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be where we're at today.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's how kind of negative politics start, right? Because you can see people that are in the THC space and
being snotty to it. It's take your THC and shove up your ass. How's that fucking sound?
Come on,
So it's just the guy that sells Delta 8 is probably hustling way harder than you, bro. And I fucking sell THC. You know what I'm saying? So it's just I don't know. I just don't knock people's hustle. That's my message. If people are out there trying to get theirs, man, as long as they're not hurting anybody, and they're not doing anything to really fuck somebody up, don't fuck with them. Let them do them.
We have enough stigma in this industry.
Dude, yourself is your biggest enemy. I don't need any more fucking enemies. You know what I'm saying? So it's So sorry, I didn't mean to go off a tangent there.
That's okay, man. That's okay, man. I'm glad you.
It just pisses me off, right? Because it's just who the fuck are you to tell me that, I'm the fridge, I'm the issue of the cannabis industry? It's the fuck's wrong with you?
Stop selling Delta 8, bro.
I don't even fucking sell it, and I just feel attacked because I just feel that's, if I were to be selling Delta 8, I would have been talking a lot more shit, but I don't. But so anyone that does sell Delta 8, hit me up. I'll definitely support you at any time and shit talk for you any day of the week. But
stay on the hustle. I think that's it, man. That's a wrap. What do we got going on?
Oh shit! I'm gonna be going to Arizona,
You're going to Arizona
tomorrow. I'm gonna go check it out. I'm gonna go see my best friend Ozzy Ruiz. I'm gonna try to connect with some restaurants and some cannabis people in the space. Me and JC might be out there next week after too. We just want to start connecting with people in the places near to us. Build a tighter cannabis community. Show people there's about the stigma, and show people to be cool and be nice with each other. You know what I'm saying? And showcase the Arizona industry. I think it needs some love.
It does, and it's on our target.
It's on, we're 15 markets, 36 months. Okay, so we've been saying 15 markets, 36 months for a while now. So like, how far are we into these 36 months? What do you want to like break down the math on that? I guess 2020 would be like the
4 months. October is when we kind of declared. Right?
That we're gonna do that October of last year. Okay, so 4 months.
Yeah, 4 months.
So we got 32 months left.
Yeah.
To fulfill this goal.
32 months.
32 months. We got to be in. We're in 2 markets right now. Soon to be 3. So then we'll need 12 more.
12 more. Yeah.
We're gonna need places to like go legal to accomplish this goal. That's now what I'm realizing. So hopefully we can get into like Puerto Rico or something.
Listen, set your goals high, right? Set the targets high.
Doesn't matter if that Marcus doesn't that matter. Only thing that matters is that you set your goals high.
I mean, give yourself something to get up out of bed for.
What else do we have going on? Do we have anything else going on right now?
Bunch of secret stuff, guys.
I just feel like we've been working on so much secret shit for like so long now, but it's just the way it fucking goes sometimes.
Yeah, but it's getting close to be.
We're getting close. Listen, if you're listening right now, go fucking sign up for my $200 giveaway. Go get some free fucking weed from the source. I don't know why, we've gotten about like 50 people sign up, and it's like
you get $200.
$200, a gift card. Not like hey, this is what you have to buy. Like you can just roll up there, you get your gift card, you fucking swipe it, and when you sign up, you get signed up for the reward program. Nice. So it's like why not get the points?
Shopping is part of the whole experience.
I went today actually. They had a $99 half-ounce deal, and of their camp flower, which I was honestly like pleasantly surprised. You go to these dispensaries and they have the house brands, and you're not really sure how the flower is going to be, right? Because they're really focused on the dispensary. But that camp was fuego. So I got some animal cookies today, which I'm very happy about. Nice. I'll be allegedly taking it with me to Arizona. So that's what people say on Clubhouse, anyways. But
shout out the source.
Shout out the source, even though we don't sell our weed there yet. The source, listen. Come on, guys. Let's buy some weed from us. Let's make it happen. I don't even think we have any weed to sell them, but if we did, we would sell it to you guys.
We would be there.
We would be there selling it to you guys. But anything else going on?
I think that's a wrap.
Okay. Oh, next week, Tuesday. If you're on Clubhouse, Tuesday next week, 6 o'clock, we're going to be hosting a State of the Nevada Cannabis. It's going to be me, JC. I got Derek.
Nice.
Las Vegas confirmed. I got Danny B confirmed. And I'm waiting to hear back on a couple other people. If you're in the cannabis space, you are on, and if you're in the cannabis space and you're on Clubhouse and you would like to be a participant in talking about the state of NV, send me a DM. I would love to get as many people involved as possible, but I want to make it as structured because what I did realize from that talk last night where people were talking shit about Delta 8 was structured talks are better than a free-for-all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When the free-for-all happens, it's where it gets a little like messy. Yeah. But when you do the structured talk, you can really get some awesome information out of it. So
shifts gears.
It really does. It like you're like gear 1, 2, like that's 3, 4 right there.
Right.
And this is 6 gear thing. So yeah. Okay, I'll wrap it up now. That is the podcast for this week. We'll see you guys next Thursday. Same time, same place. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.